we're going to go through a story real quick. An important story. Goes kind of similarly to mine on a much smaller level. So, this lady calls herself Liberty Doll. She wrote felonies for self-defense against town officials. Well, imagine that. So, obviously, we got weather going on here. The trolls who've been harassing me over the Natalie situation for literally years, well, they found my channel. Friendly people, not so much. So, the conditions that I'm forced to live in. Don't get me wrong, I could live without all this. I could be out there in the rain right now, just soaking up the rain, getting hypothermia. Which seems to be what America wants. You victimize us into homelessness, and then you victimize us for being homeless. You tell us we wanted it, needed it, chose it, deserved it. The public holds bias against us. The police hold bias against us. Firemen hold bias against us. The media holds bias against us. We are not human beings to the American people. If you support the United States of America and what they're doing, you are a horrible excuse for a human being. You are a terrorist. Now, the Republican Party is the new Nazi Party. Of course, they've been the new Nazi Party for over 50 years. It happens. This is Lincoln's party. Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves, and now his political party are the ones making excuses for treating human beings like animals. And you don't even use your brains on this. You don't want a disabled person to be able to eat. How dare they? Because you hate them. How dare they be broke in the United States? You hate them that much that you're willing to go out of your way to destroy another human being's life. Not because they harmed you. Not because they're taking food out of your mouth. Because they did neither. Now listen to this lady's story. We're going to enjoy the weather here. It happens. I'm sorry that it's not a perfect world. I'm sorry that I don't have a perfect environment. I'm sorry that I don't have beachfront property in a tropical location. For all of you guys to be happy about the situation. Sun shining. With a roof over my head that's not shaking like a leaf. Solid walls around me. Solid internet. Access to plumbing. God, that would be so nice. Of course, between helping out a victim of abuse, a disabled victim of abuse, where it'll cost about $400 a month to take care of that person. $400. That's really not that much. Now, I'm not talking about disability money here. I'm talking about housing. $400 a month? Yes, you could put somebody in a decent place. Not with inflation. We got too many greedy people here. People with money always want more money. They want more property. The United States is doomed because of the real estate market. The American people are not earning enough money to keep up with the greedy real estate investors. What's a decent profit? You're never going to get a profit off of your house. By the time you paid it off, you paid it, what, 3 times what it's actually worth? And when you sell it, you're going to sell it for what? That's the only way to do it, when it's just you busting your ass to try to make a living. But you're not a human being anymore. You're not. Once you hit the streets, you are not a human being anymore. Some people look at you like a puppy. Some people look at you like a rabid dog, but they do not see you as a person. And the proof positive is when they see you being assaulted, they see you being harmed, they see your property being destroyed, and they do nothing. They say, oh, I'm sorry that happened. We got 2 types of people here. Both types are cowards. The first type are the bullies. They work together to harass and bully people. They work as a group to destroy innocent people's lives, to drive people crazy, and that's what it does. And you want to say, oh, just ignore it. How about I tell you that when you're harmed? How about I tell you to just ignore it when your husband beats on you? How about I tell you to just ignore it when your daddy rapes you? Right now, Oregon wants to split up into basically 2 different states. Well, good riddance. I'm fine with it separating into 2 separate states. Because see, here's the thing, rural areas, that would be areas like Tillamook. Incest. You are 70% more likely to be a victim of incest in a rural area. Also, I have never, ever been to a small town that did not hold a great deal of taught racism. From Chapel, Nebraska to Lodgepole, Nebraska. Hell, you want to call Tillamook a small town? It's not, but it's chock full of racism. Imagine that. So this lady, Liberty Doll, let's play this a little bit.
Deputy Chief pulling a gun on the chief and his son and threatening him at a convenience store. A false allegation that led to a traffic stop by the cops, guns drawn, roadblock, and a host of felony charges. The biggest problem? When the young man took his gun, it was in self-defense.
Imagine that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today's story comes to you from Prescott, Arizona. A young man named Matthew Masucci is finally sharing his story after being cleared of wrongdoing in a self-defense incident that occurred 2 years ago in 2023. On the story of a drunken deputy fire chief, he was held at gunpoint by multiple cars full of cops, arrested on 2 felony counts of aggravated assault, 2 counts of committing a felony with a firearm, and in the interrogation, when the man pleaded the fifth, the cops told him the entire incident.
I'm gonna tell you something about this here situation. It isn't just the fire chief who lied. It's also the fire chief's wife and the fire chief's son. Bias is very real. Are these police officers going to arrest their coworkers for committing felonies against me, or are they going to commit felonies to have me incarcerated? Well, they've already shown that they'll commit felonies to have me incarcerated.
It was caught on camera proving his guilt, except that was a lie. Later, once the man was cleared, the police's spokesperson told local ABC 15 being biased doesn't happen. Luckily, this man...
Well, we got plenty of court cases, plenty of stuff on media showing us that bias does happen. I mean, shit, we had a female police officer just last year lost her job because a black woman walked in front of her patrol vehicle on a crosswalk, and that racist police officer wanted to use the N-word. Bias is very real. And there is more bias against the homeless than there is against black people. There's more bias against the homeless than there is against Asian people. More bias against the homeless than there is against Jewish people. There's more bias against the homeless than there is against immigrants. Because you're not allowed to hate any of those other groups, but you are allowed to hate the homeless. You just call them mentally ill. And it's okay that you beat them. It's okay that you raped them. That is the reality of being an American. If you are broke, people can do whatever they want to you, call you mentally ill, and it is okay. In the United States, this is a rape culture. In the United States, your rapist can rape you until you have PTSD and then get away with it because since you have PTSD, you're mentally ill. God bless America, right? No. It's got nothing to do with God. These are bad people. Now, you've got two types of cowards in America. The bully cowards, and then the good people. I'm a good person. No, you're not. You're a fucking coward. You will look the other way and make excuses. If you were raped, you would want somebody to turn it in with you right away. If you were assaulted and you went to the police to turn it in and they treated you the way they treat the homeless, there is a good chance that you would off yourself. What's more demeaning than being raped? Being treated by mandatory reporters like you deserved it. Being treated by the general public as if it's okay because you aren't a human being. You've got the people who think you're a puppy and want to say, oh, I'm sorry that happened to you. And then there's the ones who want to treat you like you're a rabid dog. We should lock him up and prevent him from being allowed to speak. Prevent him from showing evidence. Let's go at his Facebook and try to destroy the evidence. Let's go at his YouTube and try to destroy the evidence. One of the things they bring up in here is that there's 29 seconds worth of the video that they left out. Imagine that. How many of my situations do you get to see where my predators intentionally leave out 90% of the evidence or more because it doesn't fit their narrative? They know they're doing it, which means that they are knowingly and willingly committing felonies against disabled people, against the poor. And these are illegal. These actions are against the law, but nobody cares. I listen to cowards on the street every single day bitching about how it is. Not a goddamn one of them lifting a finger to change it. Not a goddamn one of them actually helping out the other people in the situation. I know one person who actually goes out and tries to actively do something about these situations. That one person is me. I know that I can't depend on Claire to come forward when she says she's gonna. I know that when she promises she's gonna hear my story, I know that that's not gonna happen. I know that I'm gonna have to listen to her tell her story again and again and again. That everything that I say is gonna result in her being triggered and having to go on another 30-minute tangent. I also know that Claire is just one of hundreds of people who have done the exact same thing. They don't want to help. They want to talk about themselves. They want to give advice. Good people, when they see you being assaulted, say things like, I don't want to get involved. When bad shit happens to them, they want you to get involved, don't they? When you see your neighbor get assaulted, and you say, oh, well, I don't want to get involved, it's not my business. But then you're getting assaulted, and your neighbor gives you the same treatment. What are you doing? You're pissed off. You're saying, how dare he? How could he just watch that happen and do nothing? Well, he took your example.
Hired the Attorneys for Freedom law firm, the very same people who bring you the Attorneys on Retainer program, since they are...
Now you see this? Money. The only reason that this is actually being heard is because this guy had the money to actually hire actual attorneys. He wasn't stuck with public pretenders. And of course, then there's the civil stuff. What does civil court mean? Civil means that only the people with money have access to that. When your predators are police officers, they got so many dirty tricks that they can use to make sure that you don't have access to the evidence. They will literally hold you in jail for over a year so that they can destroy the body camera evidence and deny you access. Then you got to come up with the money to buy it. Well, how are you going to come up with the money to buy evidence of abuse by police officers from those very fucking police officers? Obviously, that does not work. So this lady here is already showing bias. This is a supporter of her channel.
A regular sponsor on this channel, I like to bring you success stories from them whenever I can. Now, this young man had not been signed up with the Attorneys on Retainer program, but since he hired the firm for his case, he's still got an amazing team of lawyers on his side that specialize in self-defense cases. As for the Attorneys on Retainer program, if you sign up with them, you don't have to wait until you're in cuffs and having to scramble to find a lawyer to take your case. They have you covered so long as you are a member and acting in good faith. It doesn't matter if the law tries to hit you with felony charges, like in this case, or you were in a gun-free zone, or even technically a prohibited person.
Let's wait
and
for the
this year they added
advertisement to be
a
over.
bunch of new features like civil liability coverage, red flag defense, education, and record expungement. Now, if this is something that you think you're interested in and not already
Come
a
up with
member,
money
the
and pay
prices
them.
will go up for all new members next year. So if you are looking for coverage and want to lock in the current price, head on over to my link down in the description and use code LURIDOL to get $50 off.
America's not free.
So,
and your rights aren't free. You don't have rights if you don't have the money for an attorney. That's reality. The only thing America has going for it is that it rips off the whole world to pay for all of the infrastructure required to terrorize the whole world. If you support the United States of America, you are a terrorist. Plain and simple. Now, I was going to try to go through this whole thing, but we're not gonna. We're not going to have time. I'm only 2 minutes and 36 seconds into a 16-minute and 38-second video. This is the lady. And this was posted a day ago. Now she's got 37,000 views. Why is it that after only one day she's got 37,000 views? Well, for starters, she's got a budget of more than nothing. Second of all, she's not having to do it from inside of this shit. She's got support. Actual support. She's also not being actively victimized. Fuck it. Anyway, she goes by Liberty Doll. And this is called Felonies for Self-Defense Against Town Officials. You know, if you tell on a town official, especially a police officer or a hospital, they will abuse their power to make sure that they get away with committing felonies. Their co-workers will cover for them. This is why you need a friend or family member to go in with you. If you go to talk to one of these fucking lawyers, you still need a friend or family member to go in with you. If you are a disabled person, none of these mandatory reporters are going to do their jobs. If you're an elderly person, none of these people are going to do their jobs. Without a friend or family member taking an active role, this corruption continues. And their victims can't even defend themselves. If you support the United States of America, you are a terrorist. Plain and simple. And Democrats, don't even get me started on you. You ain't any better than the Republicans. You ain't any better than the liberals. These groups need to be abolished. George Washington himself warned us against the two-party system. Great Britain, isn't that great? And they've shown us for years why we shouldn't have a party system at all. All political parties should be abolished. If you can't do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and you can't figure out what the morally correct thing is to do, yeah, I'm not going to trust you to make the right decisions. I'm not going to trust you at all. I need help, not bullshit. Not people who are going to procrastinate literally for years, knowing that I'm being harmed over lies and they look the other way and tell me they're good people. Don't fucking lie to me. How about the people that care? I go down there every single day that they're open. They're mandatory reporters. Do they give a shit? No. I've been going there since I got released from jail on bogus charges that they had to drop. And still, I get harassed. Still, I get threatened. But I go to CARE. And of course, the first guy they gave me, he's a felon on probation. And he's also a drug addict. Or, sorry, former drug addict. So that's my peer support. Well, then he kept on forgetting stuff. We didn't get a lot accomplished. He kept on rescheduling, and he kept on forgetting what it is we were supposed to be doing. There's a reason I write it down. And then, of course, he wasn't able to do what he was supposed to or claimed he was gonna because they had him doing other things because they were going to open up these little micro shelter thingies. So I had to wait for 2 weeks. That's when I got this other lady who was supposed to help me, also a felon and a former drug addict. So the thing is, one, I'm not a felon. Two, I'm not a drug addict. I don't see this as peer support. The peer support that I have, these aren't peers. These are not peers. If they were my peers, they would help turn this shit in right away because they would understand it instead of being cowards. Oh, I can't do nothing. Oh, the cops say we're not allowed to call them if you're being harmed. We're only allowed to call them if you want to harm yourself or others. Otherwise, we're supposed to defer you to somewhere else. Well, thank you, CARE. TFCC is the same way. TCCHC is the same way. Northwest Senior and Disability Center, same way. You have made the most victimized people in this country have to fear to try to get help, to try to ask for help. You have made them so they have to fear going to the police or to the hospital when they are assaulted. Of course, if you got money, somebody might give a shit. If you got looks, somebody might give a shit. So, on a final note, I'm going to bring up Olivia Dunne. Is she talented? That depends on what you consider talent. Did she practice to become very, very, very good at what she does? Absolutely she did. She put in a lot of fucking work. Absolutely. Is that work the reason that she has what she has today? No. Fuck no. You got a big crooked nose. You got a big crooked nose and lazy eyes and fucking crooked, dangly fucking teeth. And you're disproportionately lumpy. Yeah, you're not going to get the attention that Olivia Dunne gets. She's pretty. Americans don't give a fuck about you. They give a fuck about what things look like. What their house looks like. What their neighbor's house looks like. What their wife looks like. What their kids look like. How many times has your mother told you ladies, oh, you guys have beautiful kids? Yeah. Looks are the most important things to Americans. We don't care if Jeffrey Dahmer is killing people next door. We care if he gets caught because it makes us look bad. Right? That's pretty much America in a nutshell. Now, I'm not saying that the millions of dollars that Olivia Dunne has gotten, I'm not saying that it's wrong for her to get that money, but I am going to say outright she did not earn that money. People threw that money at her the same they throw it at porn videos. The same way they throw it at the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. The same way they throw that money at Hustler. She was able to get the attention for herself through practice, and a lot of it, but also her looks. Her looks have a much bigger part in this situation than even she would be willing to admit. I am sure that there are girls who have put in just as much work, just as much effort, if not more, than Olivia Dunn. But they'll never even be going to college on a scholarship because they're not good looking enough. Who's going to give the ugly girl a 10 out of 10, even if she earned it? Don't hate Olivia Dunn for being pretty. Don't say she didn't practice, because you can't do those things unless you practice. But also, don't tell me about how she did this all herself, about how she earned it. No, she didn't earn her looks. That's genetics. But we're not allowed to say that because somebody would call us racist.